You know who you are, and don't you dare forget it, Aries. That is what I'm hearing for you for the energy that we're tapping into for the week. I feel like there is some kind of significance potentially around a grandmother, a godmother, or some sort of like older maternal or feminine energy. So there could have been someone in your life, or there could be someone in your life who speaks like this, someone who's very straightforward, very direct, very to the point. I feel like there is an energy of remembering who you are and not letting things get to you so easily, not letting your current circumstances inform your future, okay? In terms of not allowing the things in your life right now that feel like they don't quite fit or they don't quite match the version of yourself that you are and who you are evolving into, not allowing those circumstances to define you and not giving into maybe the doubt or the sort of like limiting beliefs that might come up at this time. I feel like with Aries energy, there is a huge emphasis on the head, on the mind. I think there's a lot that has to do with Mars being ruling planet for Aries. There's a lot that has to do with action. There's a lot that has to do with the masculine energy. As an Aries myself, I think, there is this thing where it's like you sometimes feel like if you're not doing something and you're not acting on something, there's like some weird sort of like guilt that comes up or comparison, or you feel like you aren't doing enough or you're supposed to be doing more. And I feel like at this time, there's a message for you that is the old story. That is no longer your story. That's no longer a truth for you. There is no comparison required. There's this energy that's like, if you are meant to be acting on something, you will, because you'll know what to act on. You'll know when you need to do something versus when you need to receive, when you need to rest, when you need to be still. Stillness is very significant for you in this energy with the Hermit. I feel like you are being reminded of who you are through kind of like the trials and tribulations that are happening in your life right now. And obviously take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Maybe you are going through a lot right now. Maybe you feel like things are pretty chill, like you're kind of coasting. Wherever you sit on this spectrum, I feel like there is this like necessity almost to come back to yourself every single day, every single time that you need this reminder, every single time that something sort of bothers you, something triggers you, something comes to the forefront for you, especially if it's something from your past, like maybe it's, a past issue that you've already dealt with. Maybe it's a past person that you've let go of and this person comes up, or a memory of them comes up. Maybe it's, difficult conversations. Maybe it's, like uncomfortable feelings that are coming up for you. If it's in your work, if it's in, hanging out with people, like whatever this is, it feels like you are always guided back to yourself by yourself. Like your heart always leads you back to yourself. Your soul always guides you back to yourself. Your inner light, this lantern kind of feature, always guides you back to yourself. It feels like even when you feel like you don't know what you're doing or where you're going, you know where you are, if that makes sense. Like it's like you can always locate yourself. Like I'm thinking about Find My Location, and it's like you always know where you are in the middle of things. Like even when things feel very shaky or you have a lot of questions, you have a lot of thoughts coming up. Like you could be someone who overthinks, you could be someone whose mind is always going. And I feel like with that Aries energy, like there is so much mental energy that happens. It's almost like a constant stream of thought, even like about the most random things, even about small things like what am I going to eat for breakfast, or like did I do this, did I remember to do this? Like it kind of feels like it's a constant stream. And I feel like at this time there is some type of energy about getting really quiet and getting really still with yourself, and almost like seeing what happens when you have nothing to distract you and you have nothing to sort of like create external noise, so that you're just kind of with yourself and you get to see your thoughts and you get to witness your own like mental experience, if that makes sense, like almost in a way that like you are an observer. I feel like there's something about being an observer and looking at things through the lens of observation instead of identifying with everything. So not every single thought is the truth, not every single scenario is what's going to happen or maybe even close to it. And it feels like you need to like step out of this over identification. That's a weird way I said that. Like I think you need to step out of over identifying with your thoughts, with your feelings, with situations in a way that you absorb the energy of it instead of just like objectively looking at the energy of it. And you have the Queen of Swords, which is very like straight to the point. I feel like you are in this week maybe just kind of having to learn how to be even more direct. And I think it's interesting because I think Aries is typically known for being very straightforward, being very direct. But I almost feel like there's something where maybe you have been skirting around some kind of truth. Maybe there's a conversation that you've had where like you weren't fully being direct. It's not that you weren't being honest, but it's like you weren't saying what really needed to be said. I feel like there's something where you are either reclaiming your voice and reclaiming your power in this truth, like holding this truth so firmly in yourself and rooting it so firmly in yourself, which I'm thinking of with this tree. Trees could be significant for you. There could also be something that has to do with like mountains or hills, or just being in solitude, being somewhere in nature by yourself. But I feel like you are rooting a truth or several truths very strongly into yourself. I almost feel as well that like there's something where it's like you want to be, I'm thinking of a mentor for some reason, or like somebody who like teaches you, right? Someone who's like wise. So you could be working with some sort of mentor or like spiritual teacher. You could also be receiving messages, like downloads and messages from an ascended master, some kind of spiritual teacher that's part of like your soul family. You could be getting these messages in a lot of different ways, but it feels like something about these messages, it's like very honest. Like it's almost like this is the most honest you've ever been with yourself and other people. This is the most authentic you've ever been, because it's like all of the layers have been removed. All of the things that were covering your truest core self have been shed, have been let go of. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who has been on their spiritual journey for a long time, who has been on some kind of journey for potentially several years, maybe even a long enough time where it's like you've genuinely matured. What's interesting is you have these 2 pages coming up in your energy this week. So I feel like as much as there is this sort of like intelligent, wise, mature energy that I think you naturally embody, I also feel like you're being asked to embody the student as well. Like you're learning from your experiences as you go along. I think in a very practical way, you're kind of taking steps every single day, or like you're making the effort to do something, to learn something, to learn from someone else in a really like simplistic and practical way. I also feel like you're letting your curiosity lead you. So it's almost like you're not really worried about getting things right or like being right about something. It's like you just want to lean into getting to know things and like being curious and being kind of like a kid, where it's like you're not concerned with getting things right. I'm just feeling that that's like this isn't about being right, it's about being a part of something. It's about leaning into something. And then clarifying that is the Lovers, which is all about choice, okay? Are you going to choose love over fear? Are you going to choose alignment, or are you going to choose what no longer works for you? Let me know if this resonates with you, Aries.